going to discuss how to make a high-res, print-ready PDF for belly bands and packaging sleeves in Adobe programs. You can see I'm working in InDesign, but these principles also apply to Adobe Illustrator. As you can see, I already have my file set up. This is wrapping around a box, this particular belly band. So I took some pieces of paper, taped them together, and wrapped them around the box and measured my panels, what sizes I need each panel that folds around the box to be. So this, because it's a rectangular box, this panel, the long one and this long one, need to be the same size, and the short one here and this short one here need to be the same size as well, because it's a rectangular box. This extra here is overlap. It is where the glue will go or the tape will go when the belly bands are scored in these pink lines, and this wraps around back behind this panel and it tapes behind this panel, creating my belly band. Now, my measurements are for the flat size. You want to set up your belly band for the flat size, not by panel sizes, and make sure you include overlap. Our clean stick tape is an optional process, and it is 3/4 an inch wide. Right there, 3/4 an inch wide. You need to make sure your overlap is at least 3/4 of an inch wide if you are using our clean stick tape, because it must fit completely within this overlap panel. Now, to make this file, I went to File, Document Setup, and this is the size, the flat size of this whole entire panel with all 4 panels plus the overlap is included in the flat size. This is exactly what I need my belly band trimmed to. No more, no less. You don't want to make this bigger or smaller. You want exact size. I am only printing on the outside of the belly band, so I only need 1 page. Some people like to print also on the inside of the belly band, and if that's true, then you would put in 2 pages. Now, under bleed and slug, the bleed part, the bleed fields, you need to add 1/8 of an inch to all 4 sides, top, bottom, left, and right, and click OK. And then you would place your artwork, and you would create a layer called scores. If you're doing scores, if you want us to do scores, you would make a layer called scores, and you would put them in the exact location based upon the transform palette right here. So this first panel, the glue or tape panel, is 7/8 of an inch. It is at least, it's an 1/8 of an inch bigger than our 3/4 inch clean stick tape, and that's okay. It could be that, or it could be 3/4 of an inch, but it must be at least that if you're doing our clean stick tape. And then if you'll notice, these panels, this is the measurement. It's 2.5 inches. This is the same 2.5 inches. This panel sizing is 5 inches, and the same with this panel right here. It's 5 inches. So everything is all set up correctly. My measurements are correct. That's entirely up to you to get your measurements correct, because again, we don't know what product you're wrapping around. It is up to you to set that up. I've also added a clean stick tape layer here because I'm going to also clean stick tape this belly band. So I want to add in a 3/4 inch wide by however wide my product is box in 100% magenta. All the scores are in 100% magenta as well. And this is vector artwork because we're working in InDesign or Illustrator. You don't want your scores to be in Photoshop because they're rasterized in Photoshop, and we cannot delete them. They will print. If they are rasterized, they will print. You want to make sure it's editable vector artwork for these marks, because we're going to include those when we make our PDF. Now, let's see. Let's go to the links palette. And you can see right here. Oh, actually, let's go and show the template. This is our downloadable template. you can, you have to measure your flat size, and then you can download a template in that size from our website. You can see there's some information here that explains the lines. I went ahead in my layers palette and I made a template layer and placed the PDF so that I can measure my artwork to make sure it all falls within the lines. Now let me zoom down here. And you can see the template. The black line is the trim edge. The pink area is the bleed in here. And this is the safety margin. The safety margin is 1/8 of an inch inside the trim edge, and the bleed area is 1/8 of an inch past the trim edge. So all type, all logos, all important elements must be inside the blue safety line. If, for example, this logo was over here, oops, like there, there's a chance some of it could get trimmed off. Printing is not perfect. There's moisture in the air. Paper is manufactured all differently. Paper is going through a conveyor belt, through a printer. There's all kinds of things that could happen to make it just a little bit off. So that's why we have that 1/8 safety margin. Get that back to where it was. Going. There we go. All right. So you can see all the artwork is within this safety margin. And you'll notice we have very thick borders, upper and lower borders on this. If you have a border on your file, it must be at least 1/8 of an inch thick. It must extend from the trim all the way to the blue line at the minimum, and it must bleed 1/8 of an inch past the trim edge. All files, any background images, any background artwork that extends to the trim edge must go all the way past the trim edge by 1/8 of an inch to create bleed. It's very important because of the reasons I mentioned about printing not being perfect. Now let's go and hide this template. Let's go to the links palette. As you can see, this is the logo and this is the artwork that's in this file. In the links palette, you choose your artwork and you can spill the link info. Let me do a little more. The link info screen. You can get some information about your place logos. This logo is RGB color space. We prefer all artwork to be CMYK color space because those are the actual printing inks we print in: cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Our RIP will automatically convert all RGB colors, all PMS colors, any other color space into CMYK. The only problem with that is RGB can be brighter than CMYK. It's a more vibrant color space. So when it's converted from RGB to CMYK automatically in a RIP, some of the colors can get duller. Since that could happen, and some people don't like that, we suggest you convert all your artwork and links to CMYK, adjust the colors to how you like them in CMYK, then relink your artwork. That way, when we print the file, your PDF and our printed piece will be much closer in color than if you supply it as RGB. You'll also notice in this link info, you can see the DPI of this logo is 300, but it's placed at 200% enlargement, making the DPI, the effective DPI, 150, which is low res. Anything below 300 DPI is considered low res. You'll notice on the outside of this, in the margins of this, I have another logo. And this was already converted to CMYK, and it's also 300 DPI, but it's placed at 100%. So it's still high res at 300 DPI. So this logo is CMYK and high res. This logo is RGB and low res. So what we're going to do is replace this logo with this logo and get it just right. Here we go. So now we have the CMYK high res logo placed in our artwork, which is important for getting high quality printed files. Now let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go to export a PDF. I'm going to go to File, Export. I'm going to place it on my desktop. You can, wherever you want to put it. Under Format, you want to choose Adobe PDF Print. Then click Save. And from the pull-down menus, the preset Adobe PDF preset menu, you want to choose PDF X4 2008. It comes preloaded in all Adobe applications. And if you'll notice, there's high quality print and press quality. Don't use those. They're not as good. Now, you want to save as single pages, never spreads, always single pages. And these are the settings for this Adobe preset. There is one area we need to change. We need to add in bleed. Do not add any marks. We don't want crops. We don't want color bars. We just want an 1/8 of an inch bleed. You can add it this way or use document bleed settings, which come from the document setup when we created our file. Either way, you have to add bleed. If you don't have bleed here, if these fields don't say an 1/8 of an inch, the bleed in your file will not come out. Even though you have physical bleed in your file, without these being added in as an 1/8 of an inch, the final PDF will not have bleed. So we need to make sure PDF X4 2008, add bleed, single pages. And it says modified because we changed the bleed settings. Now we're going to export the PDF to the desktop, and there it is. Now, as you can see, I made a mistake. I left our template in the file right here. You can see it. You can see the words. We cannot take that out once we get your print ready PDF. You must go back in to InDesign and delete the template. Hide the template. And then remake the PDF. Now, for scores and clean stick tape, you want to leave these in your file. This is literally the lines we're going to use to line up our scoring equipment so that it lands in the correct position. We don't use your measurements, we use your lines. So make sure these lines are accurate. And you want to leave them in the PDF, and they must be vector format so that when we print, we will print one with the lines, and then we'll delete the lines and print the rest of your files, and we will use our scoring equipment to line up to the top page with the scores, get them just right, and then we score your entire file, your entire Bellybands the same way. So it's important to leave these in here and make sure they're accurate. So I'm going to remake the PDF. I'm going to File, Export. I'm going to write right over that file that was no good. And all your settings should be the same as they were before. Single pages, PDF X4, 2008, marks and bleeds, 1/8, and export. And here we are with a print ready PDF in vector format. All the lines and the clean stick has to be in vector format. And you can see this is the size of my file, my PDF file, which includes bleed. So the final trim size is 15.875 by 3. And if you add an 1/8 of an inch bleed to all four sides, you get 16.125 by 3.25. So this file is good and ready to go. Now, for scores and clean stick, you do not have to do these. These are optional processes. You could just do a flat cut belly band. Let's say it wraps around a round product and you don't need scores. That's totally fine. Just make sure you have some kind of overlap if you don't want to use our clean stick, to make sure that whatever tape or whatever product you're using to hold the belly band together around your product, there's enough space to put either glue or tape here or whatever it is that wraps around to the back side of this particular end of the belly band. Now you can do clean stick tape only and no scores. You can do scores and clean stick tape, or you can do just scores and no tape. And then the other option is nothing at all. So these are totally optional processes. you would choose those when you order on the website. And with or without those, this is a print ready PDF.